We're lucky today to be joined by Peter McWhorter from the great class of 2001. Peter played on the golf team, was captain of the team in 2001, where he won an Ivy League title his second, and was all Ivy his senior year. Peter, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Coach. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. So right now, Peter, you're a surgeon at Greenwich Hospital in Greenwich, Connecticut, which, as I understand it, is somewhat of ground zero in Connecticut for the COVID-19 virus. Is that right?
Yeah, in terms of Connecticut is, we're the first town in the Connecticut from New York, and a lot of our population commutes into the city and works on Wall Street and stuff like that. So, obviously the virus obeys no human borders, and we, of course, interact with people from New York. And so, yes, we have more coronavirus per capita really in our part of the state than anywhere else. And so our hospital is not a big hospital. I think our max capacity is maybe 180 beds. And we are beyond capacity. We're putting patients in rooms that aren't even typical inpatient rooms. We sort of maxed out at about 120 patients with coronavirus staying in the hospital. That was probably about a week and a half ago. We sort of have gotten to the top of the curve and probably or maybe a little bit on the backside of it. And so the numbers going down a little bit, but yes, we are, we're busy with it for sure.
And I know that by trade, I guess is the word, you're a surgeon, is your specialty, but in a time like this, it must just be all hands on deck and you treat whoever's there, right?
Yeah, we've divided our hospital. Our hospital has two main floors, and so we're keeping all of our coronavirus patients on the second floor, and the third floor is non-coronavirus patients, of which there are not many. But the hospital has taken on a whole new complexion where we used to have a capacity of about 14 beds or so for the ICU. We've now ramped that up to about 30. We have numbers of people on ventilators that we've never had before. I mean, it's right now at about 16, but I think at its high water mark, it was like 22 people. So the real, the most work is probably being done by our critical care doctors, our intensivists, but also, our hospitalists who admit the patients and take care of the ones that aren't yet to that ICU level of care. But yes, we have people who don't even sort of do hospital medicine as their day job, sort of pitching to do that. As I mentioned to you earlier, I'm a surgeon. I have some critical care experience, and I'm fellowship trained in that and board certified in that, but I don't practice that. But I did do that for 2 days when they were sort of down people last week. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not really my comfort zone, but to some degree it is all hands on deck for sure.
Sure. Okay. And I know you've got a wife and family at home. What's the schedule like? Are you working a week at a time? Are you going home and to your family? How are you handling it?
Yeah. So I am doing sort of an entire week in a row of being on call and sort of answering to the hospital, where we would typically, we have 3 surgeons who sort of take call at Greenwich Hospital, and we'll sort of do that on like an every third day sort of pattern. So, you work, you could have a busy day here, but then you'll have a couple days where you could predict that you could make dinner plans or, do ordinary type things in a non-COVID world. But we sort of altered that to where we're just doing one person takes call for an entire week so that the other 2 can not have to come into the hospital and not potentially expose themselves and get sick. Because that of course is happening. I actually was reading in one of my hospital emails that I guess they've had 73 employees of Greenwich Hospital contract the virus. My dad will, and my dad actually had it. And he got pretty sick. I mean, he didn't go into the hospital. Other people may have, but my dad says, he's sort of a tough guy. And if fortunately he didn't have the terrible pulmonary, manifestations of it, but it was like a terrible, terrible flu, and it lasted a full 14 days. So, I mean, so he and our family sort of have that somewhat personal experience with it. And he's a healthy guy, albeit, 72 years old. So, so anyway, so we've experienced it on those different levels. But, and then to answer your question, so when I'm not on call, yeah, I'm trying to stay home, and I was thinking, there are so many front lines here. There are front lines of homeschooling, and there are front lines of people who employ others, and I have to think, how am I going to keep people employed? My employees count on me. They need to put food on the table. Obviously, certainly the nurses and doctors, but, and for some people, while it's hard to accept what is needed of a lot of people, most people, is just to stay home, because, and that's true. If you stay home, you're much less likely to get sick, obviously. But, so I try to help my wife out and not come to the hospital when I don't have to, because I got 3 kids who are driving her crazy, but they need to get, but this impacts them too, because they don't see their friends, and they're trying to be taught, by my wife and me, who are not obviously teachers. And, so it's everybody is bearing some burden.
You talked about how your dad went through this. Is he back to helping, or is he still at home?
I think he got.
Seen him in 20 years. I'm thrilled that he's okay now.
Yeah. I think he got cleared to go back to work later this week. He's still, he might kick me for saying this. I mean, I think that it has taken so much out of him. He still is describing to me that he'll get out of the shower and just be like, wow, that was all the energy I have. Like, it's actually hard to even sort of get down the stairs. And yet with the work ethic that he's born with, he's, well, A, the work ethic, but B, sort of the boredom of being at home for, 4 weeks now. He sort of wants to get back to work just to have some sense of purpose, and he wants to do something. So he's going to try to get back pretty soon to work.
And you said that you guys are either plateauing, or you think you might actually be on the other side of the curve now. Is it encouraging? Is it exhausting? I mean, how are you handling it emotionally? It's got to be tough.
Yeah. Sometimes it is. It's, and yet sort of as healthcare workers, this is what we do. I mean, but it is, and one of the hard things for me was not even something I saw in the hospital, but my children's bus driver passed away. We haven't told my kids that, but he was a wonderful guy who took care of our little kids and would do a wonderful job of sort of stopping traffic to let the kids get safely onto the bus. But he was a kind person who always had a smile, and I think he was only in his 50s. So it's sort of a person who we lost much too young. And I've seen two people from the same family die here at Greenwich Hospital, and that's just a burden that no family should have to deal with. It is hard, and one thing that's hard is that we don't have some of our typical support systems. I go to church, and but we can't go to church now, and we can't even really get together with our friends to chat and to go out to dinner. And I mean, we can do things like Zoom, but it is hard to personally to wrestle, to process some of the things that, and then we're all going through them. I mean, whether you're seeing it on the nightly news or you're seeing it, in person, there's a lot to sort of wrestle with. And not only that, but in some way our support systems are taken from us a little bit right now.
What are you leaning on?
The strength of my family. Excuse me. Certainly my faith. But like I say, we, as healthcare workers, we do this. And so it's funny. It's funny. I have friends who are reaching out to me and tell me how much they're thinking about me and wishing for my safety and stuff. And it's funny when I receive those messages on a week like last week when I'm sitting home homeschooling, and I'm actually doing, at times I'm doing less work right now than I am at other times. And so the healthcare workers are getting this wonderful recognition for what they do. And we're so appreciative of that. People are bringing food to our hospital. All the local businesses are feeding people. We had a wonderful sort of parade around the hospital of ambulances and fire trucks and a flyby with a helicopter. Everybody sort of showing support to the healthcare community. And yet in some way, this is kind of what we do always. And I don't mean to pat us on the back, but certainly people are paying close attention. But I see ICU nurses who are certainly working their tails off, but they work their tails off all the time. They're always at bedsides with people who are dying and comforting those patients and comforting family members. And so, I tip my cap to all the healthcare workers, for whom this is their life all the time. But they're doing a wonderful job.
I think we all tip our cap to it. So we're especially grateful now, but we're always grateful.
Right.
I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about some happier things.
Yes.
We do this thing with Princeton Golf where we play just a quick 9.
Sure.
With our players, but we want to try and start including people like you. So I'm going to ask you a series of 9 questions. You just think about the first thing that comes to your mind.
Sure.
And then we'll talk a little bit after this is done. So I'm going to get started. Tell me what's your dream foursome?
Oh boy. My dream foursome, I might play with Jacob deGrom and maybe David Wright and Coach Hunt.
Oh yeah, great. Hunt was my predecessor at Princeton for those that are watching, and he's still around. He's still playing a lot of golf, in fact. Favorite course you've ever played?
My favorite course is probably Shinnecock Hills.
Best memory of Princeton golf?
Winning the Ivy League championship my senior year and getting to celebrate afterward with the teammates.
We won't talk about the celebration. What was your thesis topic?
I wrote about American interventionism in Central America in the late 1800s.
How old were you when you first beat your dad at golf?
He would probably remember better than I, but I was probably 11 or 12 maybe, something like that.
When's the last time he beat you at golf?
It was probably the day before that.
What and where was your lowest 18-hole score?
I never was a guy who went really low. I always played better on the harder courses. So I haven't. I think my low number is 69 or 68. So I think I've had 69 at Stanwich and maybe a couple other courses of somewhat less challenging than Stanwich. So 69 at Stanwich is probably my best round.
Chipotle or Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A.
Would you rather win 1 Masters or 3 PGA championships?
3 PGA championships.
You're the first one to say that. Final question. You win the Masters. What's your champion's dinner?
I would serve chicken pot pie.
Fantastic. That's a quick 9 with Peter McWhorter. P, listen, I haven't seen you in forever. It's so great to see your face. I'm incredibly thankful for what you're doing. I can only imagine, the ups and downs and the emotions involved in it. And I think for all of us, we just want to say thank you and continue to get through this safe. Please give your father, especially that he's going through this, please give him our best and all your family as well. Keep up the good work, and hopefully we see you safe and sound sometime soon.
Thank you, Tiger Golf. Be safe and be well, everybody.
That's Peter McWhorter, everyone. Thanks, Pete.